Hans took me to Grossgard. As an artist's soul is mirrored in their brushstrokes, so too is a lord's character reflected in the state of their dominion. Everywhere, you could see Ludwin's gentle touch. From the full fields, to the content faces of the farmers, to the laughter of children and adult alike that filled the air.
What do you think of our humble land?
I tore my eyes away from the bright orchards and turned to Hans. It's beautiful. It may not be large or bustling, but I've never been to such a peaceful dukedom.
I'm sure his lordship will be pleased to hear that assessment.
Suddenly, I found myself curious. Earlier, you said that the ancestral trials would teach Ludwin how to rule. But judging from what I've seen here, he is already a capable lord. What more would you like him to learn? Hans smiled tenderly, as a grandfather might when speaking of a beloved grandchild.
I should have known an avid scholar like yourself would read between the lines. Make no mistake, Ludwin is not a perfect leader yet, but it is not my place to discuss his flaws.
Then tell me this. Are his flaws related to his family's inability to fight?
Let us call it a starting thread, but the full tapestry is so much more.
I decided not to pry. I already had the information I needed to guide Ludwin through his trial.
Sir Lancelot? I don't remember sending for you.
Of course, the Lord was surprised to see me. Although friendly, I was a rogue element in a world where this man had control of nearly everything. I have come at the request of Hans. He would like me to assist you in deciphering the tome.
I see. Hans does have a knack for meddling in his lord's affairs, but I welcome you all the same because, to tell the truth, I'm getting absolutely nowhere.
I smiled, despite myself. It was nice to meet a noble who wasn't spilling over with pride. Hans beckoned me to his desk, and I leaned over the old tome.
What do you make of it? This must be child's play for a famed warrior scholar.
He looked at me with expectant eyes. I'm sorry, but I can't decipher this. We will need to enlist the help of an expert. Expectation turned to astonishment.
Lancelot, though you fight like a storm, your mind is as clear as the stillest of ponds. I can't believe you'd need to ask for assistance.
Can't you? Every second I spend on the battlefield is a second away from the library. Ludwin hesitated a while longer, but when I strode to the door and held it open for him, he sighed and relented. No one in either of our circles was well versed in ciphers, but that was a matter of small concern. I knew an information broker. Zothba put me in touch with a language scholar who delivered a key to us within a fortnight.
Well, I'll be. The clue was in the names of my ancestors.
Ludwin stood up behind his desk and stretched, and the lines of care and worry melted from his face. He must have had many sleepless nights poring over the withered pages of the tome alone.
Thank you, Sir Lancelot. I can finally read the damn thing. It's only a matter of time now until I find the sword.
It was my pleasure. I look forward to news of your success. But I already knew. Before the unearthing of the blade, Hans would come to visit me one last time. I was half right. It was not Hans, but Ludwin himself who showed up at our doorstep.
I deciphered the record, and I know where the sword is buried.
He was so excited he completely forwent pleasantries.
I know I should go alone, with Hans of course, but the tome says we must fly to Skyworm Valley, which is riddled with monsters. It's a terrible place for a lord to be made into dragon kibble.
I knew what he wanted me to say. Very well. Please, allow me to accompany you.
Really? Wonderful! I mean, only if you wish.
This must have been the flaw Hans was alluding to. Ludwin was afraid of his own power. He dreaded the responsibilities that came with leadership. The lords of Grossgard were not warriors and hadn't been for generations. They depended on their subjects for protection. But as I'd learned, Ludwin was loath to do so. Up until now, this has not posed a problem. Small skirmishes were all that troubled the peace of his dukedom. But what would happen should a great war march on his borders? Would his honor eventually spur him to the front lines? To death? The place of a lord and general is with the rear guard. There, they must order the battle and conduct diplomatic affairs. But it is hard, sitting and conversing in safety while your soldiers are risking their lives. As captain of the White Dragons, I knew this better than anyone. You feel as if every death is on your head. At last, I had come to fully understand Ludwin. If these trials, as Hans said, could help him come into his own, then I would do everything in my power to guide him to victory. I can feel the difference. Impressive. Excellent. Huh. Exhilarating. What fortune. Impressive. What fortune. Exhilarating. Huh. Excellent. Huh. Impressive. Exhilarating. What fortune. Excellent. Exhilarating. Excellent. Huh. The day arrived. Ludwin, Hans, myself, and a few more compatriots met outside of Skyworm Valley.
Lancelot, thank you for coming, but I wasn't aware there would be others with you. Who are these people?
He looked with wide eyes at the rest of the crew, whom he had never met before. I have heard terrible monsters lurk in these parts. Alone, I would not have been able to guarantee your safety. These are my crewmates, each one a warrior of great strength and honor.
Not that I don't appreciate their presence, but Sir Lancelot, surely a knight of your caliber could cut through these beasts with both hands tied behind your back.
Chance, my lord, is as unpredictable as the weather. A wise skyfarer prays for a gentle current, but prepares for a vicious storm. Ludwin nodded thoughtfully.
Very well. Best I leave the knighting to the knights.
We go into the Viper's Nest. Take care. Are you ready to begin the trial?
It's now or never. Let go.
Hey, look! The welcome squad!
Her attacks are working! Is this part of the trial?
Wait, I remember. The record said a single link does not a chain make.
So fighting one at a time won't work? Let's hit it all at once.
Very well. On Lancelot's mark.
After me!
Understood!
Very well.
I'll press them!
The war Who do you think you're commanding?
Very clever, Vane.
Siegfried on the level. Silence. If not for Lord Ludwin's counsel, we would have been lost.
You did it! You really did it!
I felt
I
proud
only
of
wish
that one.
I'd have been of more use.
Don't worry about it. We've all got stuff we're good and bad at.
There is no shame in seeking help from others. It builds trust.
Yes, trust. That is all we ask from you, Lord Ludwin. Wide open!
Checkmate! Looks like we've reached the second trial.
There are so many spirits around. The best fighted formation. This may be similar to the previous trial.
Very well. Leave the vanguard to me.
Go team! We're gonna be so in sync.
Wait.
To see
4 legendary knights in battle at once? Set keepers to behold!
Little backup!
I'll handle
Understood.
this. Standard line attacks aren't working. We need to coordinate.
Order me.
fair point.
On me. Full. You're through.
Brave away! This
You won't prevail.
Stay focused.
Have at them. You're open. Away with my sight.
Stay focused.
now or never!
For fiend drop.
Now then! Perfect execution!
You speak the truth.
Seize
victory
into the fray!
That was a fearsome blow.
Did you say something?
Red, go!
Forward. You're mine.
Allow me! Stay at the ready.
War never sleeps.
Of course.
Danger's my middle name.
Stay focused.
Get him!
You have to
Right, that does it for the second trial.
Thank you.
Too easy, Lancelot?
Not at all. We've only made sweet progress thanks to the team.
We fought alongside each other for years. This was nothing.
What is that thing? It's huge!
Jairus is a dead soul, given form by evil spirits.
The dead? No, I never signed up to fight the dead! Free! Everyone!
You won't prevail. Remain calm. We can handle this.
You can't know that for sure! The stars above, if anything were to happen to you because of my weakness!
My Lord Ludwig, I ask that you listen to Lancelot. Place your trust in us.
My noble guy! We're a total dream team! It's one or ten!
Just like always.
Only death awaits! Fame! Yes, sir! For glory! Absolute zero!
Without powers combined, no force can stop us.
This is gonna get ugly!
Right. Safeguard your positions.
Very well. Lancelot believed in this team. So shall I.
Parry this! Ungo!
Fear no dark! Just what I need! Stay focused! Now!
I'll finish this.
Come on! Watch my back! Use our might!
I'll slap him silly!
Ungo! I shall not falter. You won't prevail.
Ready. Let them do their worst. I can take it. Ready for fight.
Well done, Lancelot.
Ungo!
Don't mistake mercy for wicked power. Sorry,
Almost there.
Right. There's some comrades out. Who's ready to attack?
You face the fight of the White Dragon! Fight Boozle! Ha! Percival!
No despair!
Low and wolf.
Frosted Flame! Blue Detonation!
You took down all those monsters! That was blind!
Well, the chest awaits you, my lord. Open it and claim your prize.
Ah, yes! Of course.
One blade for truth, one for honor. After numerous trials, we arrived at last in front of a lone treasure chest.
If it hadn't been for your help, Sir Lancelot, I wouldn't have made it this far. I fear I won't ever be able to repay this debt.
There is no debt between us, but do not trouble yourself about me. Look now to your prize. With trembling hands, Ludwin undid the clasps of the chest and lifted from it a sheathed sword.
The blade of my forebears. It's, lighter than I thought it would be.
Carefully, he drew forth the weapon.
What's the meaning of this? It's just a hilt!
Ludwin was the very picture of distress. But I saw through the riddle at once. A sword with no blade, a weapon that could neither defend nor slay. It was a message left by the first lords of Grosgard for their scions. Gently, I cleared my throat. Perhaps, my lord, it was meant to be a hilt, and a hilt alone.
What? Why would my ancestors bequeath unto me a hunk of metal?
You will find the answer to this puzzle, as you have to all the others. Slowly, Ludwin's grip on the blade relaxed, and he began to turn it over in his hands.
Fine. I'll give it a bit more thought.
Sir Lancelot, do you really think his lordship will be able to figure it out?
On our way back, Hans fell in beside me to take whispered counsel. What does your heart tell you? You have been at his side all these years. Hans made no reply, but I saw the shadow pass from his face and a soft light come into his eyes.
need something?
The third day after we had returned, Ludwin came calling.
I've got it! The meaning behind our family heirloom!
With great reverence, he laid his hand on the hilt, which was sheathed at his hip.
At last, the pieces of the puzzle are gathered and the picture is whole. The tome in the mountains, the message in code, the chest guarded by monsters, and the sword without a blade.
Ludwin laughed dryly.
Sir Lancelot, I love this land, passed down to me by my forebears. I love its gentle rills, its rolling hills, its honest laborers, and its noble warriors. I would do anything to keep them from harm.
But he could not fight his own battles. He spoke of one such conflict that occurred within his dukedom. He was forced to flee to safer grounds, while the blood of his people mingled with the dirt. The guilt ever gnawed at him, robbing him of his happiness and repose. In the midst of his troubles, Hans told him of a legendary blade. The young lord grew convinced that this sword would bestow upon him the strength he needed to protect his own.
I wanted to be everything for my people. A great warrior like you, and also a wise general and a benevolent lord. But now I see that one person does not make a country. I am the hilt which guides the sword.
And the people are the blade, which are its strength, leader and follower. One is lost without the other. Emotion stirred within me, and I drew a trembling breath. My lord, we are more alike than you think. There was a time when I blamed myself every time I lost a knight. I tried to shoulder the burdens of my kingdom alone, thinking I was protecting everyone. But I was wrong, for my fall would have meant the ruin of all. Ludwin nodded.
You're right. I'm done tearing myself into pieces, trying to play 100 roles at once. My people are counting on me to guide them, and so I shall, with this sword.
He drew the hilt from its sheath. Look to your own duties, and trust your comrades to fulfill theirs. That is all we can do.
I won't ever forget this lesson, Sir Lancelot. I swear upon my ancestors that from this hour henceforth I shall dedicate myself to becoming the fair and wise lord that Grosgard deserves.
The clouds of doubt were gone from Ludwin's eyes. He had found his path at last. And I had been reminded of something important. It was true that leadership and responsibility acted as shackles, but they were also anchors, providing safety and stability on a sea of uncertainty. Months later, word reached me concerning a Lord Ludwin of Grosgard. It was said he had no great strength of arms, but his wit and will were edged sharper than steel. Under his rule, the people lived in peace, and their fields were ever gold. But the young lord never accepted praise for his deeds. He always spoke of the loyalty of his subjects and the wisdom of a foreign knight. It seems his idolatry of me still hasn't changed. But as Ludwin has grown into his title, perhaps I too should learn to bear my mantle with pride. I am Lancelot, captain of the White Dragons and son of Fiendrock.